cats and kittens. It's Amy from Savor, Salvage, Scent. I hope you're doing great. For those of you who are new to this channel, this mostly focuses on all things perfume, fragrance, scent related with an occasional other creative or DIY project. For those of you who have not listened before, if you're so moved, I would love it if you would hit the red subscribe button so that we can stay in touch and you'll get notifications about my videos and the channel. It really helps me and my channel grow. And for those of you returning, thank you so very much for watching, for listening, for conversing, for teaching and learning alongside me. It's just great. I feel like what the people that I've met over doing this channel over the last year or so, and how much I've learned from you all too. So thank you. Today I want to talk about a video topic suggested by Jordan, one of the listeners and friends, and he suggested that I do a survey of my Tuberose fragrances. I have 15 to talk with you about. I think some of you who like Tuberose will be surprised. I'm missing some of the grand daddies and grand ladies, grand people. But I think of the 15 that I'm going to talk about today, there's quite a diversity. There are some that, you know, are really, I would say mainly Tuberose, which are so beautiful. If I had to give my opinion, I would say Tuberose as a note by itself is to me one of the most sumptuous, sexy, buttery, gourmand, slightly animalic scents, just gorgeous on its own. So some of these are very much Tuberose prominent, and then some of these have it in the composition, and we've got everything from florals to aldehydic to more resinous scents to gosh, what else, kind of bright scents, green scents with Tuberose. So quite a diversity here. I'm going to go in order of around when they were released, oldest to newest. All right, ready, set, go. The first, and a lot of you might not, and I did not think of this as a Tuberose perfume, really, till one day I was building my collection around Tuberose perfumes, and I read years ago saying, like, don't forget Chanel number 22. And it's interesting because I think a lot of us know it as an aldehydic scent, but if you really spend some time with it, the Tuberose really comes out as it dries down, for me at least. So Chanel number 22, this is the oldest, I would say, Tuberose heavy scent in my collection, 1922. The nose was Ernest Beau, and I would say you get not only Tuberose, of course, but a floral composition strong in aldehydes. But when those aldehydes settle down, the Tuberose really starts to come out, and so I just think this is really cool. Not your kind of, you wouldn't just think Tuberose when you smell this at all, but once your nose is trained to smell it, you're like, yeah, it's really there. Next is another vintage scent, 1975. This is the original Chloe. Man, this smells like my childhood. I was born in 1971, and there were a few women around me that wore this for sure. What do I get from this? Of course, some Tuberose, but also I get a lot of soap, again, and aldehydes in this, but definitely, like, this smells to me like really expensive soap. It smells, this is so good. It's funny, I don't reach for this a lot, and today when I grabbed it, you know, knowing that it's Tuberose prominent, I was like, God, I need to wear this more. It's so good. Really wonderful composition. So Chloe. Next is a favorite Guerlain of mine, Jardins de Bagatelle. I hope that's how it's pronounced. Please tell me if it's not. This is a beautiful group of gardens in Paris, and that is what this smells like. So this is way brighter than the two I just talked about. More stems. To me, this is 1983, by the way, John Paul Guerlain. Yeah, if you look at the composition of this, there are a ton of florals. I mean, it really smells like a garden. So this is where Tuberose on its own is, I find, to be lactonic, buttery, heady, thick, even milky, creamy. This is brighter. This is definitely more like a garden, and you get some tuberose, but you get the other flowers and stems. To me, this is one of the classiest kind of like garden scents, and you can find it really affordably. So Guerlain Jardins de Bagatelle. All right, another incredible classic, and another one I smelled today, and I was like, why don't I wear this more? One of my favorite bottles too. Dior's Poison. God, is that the coolest? I mean, for a young goth girl like myself, I was like, yes. Looks like a poisonous apple. Are you kidding? It's the coolest thing ever. 1985, Edouard, is it Flechier? Not sure how to say the name, is the nose. This is, to me, one of the first scents I fell in love with. It was really heavy and plum. I get, in addition to tuberose, you get, this is a, talk about a composition, there's a gazillion things in here, but I get plum, anise, carnation, spice, incense, wood, amber, and then that buttery, heavy floral. This is, to me, a deep, dark floral scent, like a gothic floral. It's just gorgeous. Dior Poison, phenomenal, phenomenal thing. Next is a scent that gets a lot of hate that I freaking love. Oh, it's incredible to me when you can buy a bottle of $10 or $15 perfume and it just rocks my world as much as a $200 or $300 bottle of perfume. Y'all can laugh, smirk, poke fun as much as you want. I love Bob Mackie. I love this thing. This is my second bottle in my life. This was first created in 1991. And this is the epitome of what people call a bubblegum tuberose, or bubblegum floral. This is like the 90s, heady, bombastic. So what I get is heavy, heavy florals. You get amber, musk, sandalwood, patchouli, vetiver. But all of this with the tuberose truly smells like bazooka bubblegum. Smells powdery, sweet, sweet, syrupy. This is a gorgeous thing. I have the companion cream. I love this thing. I think it's $12 a bottle. Crazy, gorgeous thing. And I can tell a minute the second I smell somebody else with it on, usually a woman my age or older, and I always have to tell her and chase her because she smells so freaking good. All right, Bob Mackie, get on it. Kind of along the same lines, but I would say not as bawdy, more like a garden, is Amarige. I have just a small baby one here by Givenchy. This was also released in 91. What a good year for perfume, y'all. This is another bright kind of gardeny composition. Not only do you get, I would say this is kind of like Jardins de Bagatelle, that it's like a composition of florals with heavy tuberose, but you get green stems too. But this, you also get like that sugary kind of mimosa smell. It's just beautiful. A lot of people, this is their favorite perfume. I have met a lot of women that live and die by this perfume, and I get it. It's really, really, really good. Amarige by Givenchy. This was one of my first loves, this next one. This is Versace's Blonde. I still think this is one of the coolest bottles ever. If it's not a Lilique bottle, it certainly looks like one, faceted on the top. This is just a half an ounce. It'll last me forever because it's really strong. Versace Blonde. It was released in 1995, so I was in college, and this was like when I was starting to really get into perfume. That is so good. Okay, what do I get? This was named by Gianni Versace for his sister, Donatella. And I just think this kind of like wraps up her and that kind of wild living generation. And I read recently that Mary J. Blige wore this at one time, and I can see that too. Super opulent, talented, big and bold. What I get from this is the most sophisticated suntan lotion you've ever smelled, like Rich B suntan lotion. And some animalics. I think there's like civet in this, and musk too. So it's this buttery, heady, lactonic tuberose with slightly animalic smells, and it to me is just gorgeous. This is one of my probably top 10 or 12. I just love this thing. Versace Blonde. Okay, next. A favorite Guerlain that doesn't get a lot of love, Mahora. How about that bottle? I noticed as I put these 15 together today, most of them have these incredibly opulent, beautiful bottles, and I don't think that's a coincidence. My guess is they're trying to duplicate how beautiful this note or this prominent scent is. Mahora by Guerlain, released in 2000, sadly discontinued. This is definitely tuberose heavy, but ambery too. So you've got that gorgeous ambery, formerly known as, or like an oriental scent. So things of like the spice trade, ambers, etc., but with strong tuberose. And it also has almond blossom, and so it's got this nutty, buttery, ambery scent. And this is to me a favorite Guerlain. It's just incredible. And again, look how cool that bottle is. Oh my gosh, work of art, truly. So Mahora by Guerlain. Next, I have two Serge Lutens to talk about. My God. This was my first, Datura Noir. I grow Datura, which are these giant, giant moonflowers. Some of you will be familiar with them because Georgia O'Keeffe painted them. These beautiful, big white flowers with really gorgeous kind of like structural or like sculptural design. They're just gorgeous. They're highly toxic, but they have this incredibly heady scent. This Detour, I believe, cannot be, I think it's a fantasy scent. So in other words, I don't think you can extract the scent from Datura. Let me know if I'm wrong, because it's toxic. So this is a combination of things that smells like Datura. So Datura is a lot like these rich night blooming white flowers, and like things like jasmine, gardenia, tuberose. But I would say it's brighter, more lemony, but definitely still animalic. And that's what you've got here. So there's a fair amount of tuberose in this, but I would say it's a little brighter. But yet still, I would call this a gothic floral too. It's not just a gentle spring, happening. This is rich and decadent and heady and sexy to me. So Serge Lutens, Detour Noir. Okay, next is a sample. I've been trying out a sample set of Lutens scents, and I'll be honest, this is the most challenging of the tuberose that I have. I would not call this a love. I would call this a crazy for respect. But I have a sample here of Tuberose Criminelle. I know some people who, and some other reviewers who just absolutely love this, and I get it. It's actually, I don't fully get it. I think I get why they love it. I feel like my head's still, or my brain's still wrapping around this. This is super complex. And what I get is tuberose. When I first smelled it, this is really strange, I like the smell of rubber in things, like Bulgari Black. There's some things that have like a hint of a rubbery scent, and I really like it. Angel even does that for me sometimes, even though I'm not crazy about Angel. I like that about it. Tuberose Criminelle has that thing going on for me. It's like tuberose, but also it's got this camphoric, like mentholy effect, and it's almost too much for me. When I first smelled this sample a couple years ago, I was like, I don't think I'm grown up enough for this. I'm 50 yesterday. But as I smell it more, there's something kind of weirdly addicting about it. And I'm guessing in the winter I might even like it more because of that kind of like minty camphoric effect. So anyways, major props to Serge Lutens and the nose Christopher Sheldrake for making the most interesting, brilliant, intelligent scents. So I'm challenged in a good way by this scent, and I bet you I end up loving it. That's kind of the way I roll sometimes. The stuff that's hard for me in the beginning, I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn more about it. All right, next. A lot of people might not think of this as a tuberose scent. This is A Secret Obsession by Calvin Klein. I love resinous ambery scent. So Old School Obsession is one of my favorite scents in the world. I think it's so, so good. I bought this actually thinking it would be kind of a flanker and an obsession. I don't really get obsession necessarily. I mean, maybe a hint. But I get tuberose, but I get tuberose with spice, amber, and wood. And so to me, this is really an ambery, woody scent or resin scent more than it is tuberose. But once you spray it and it dries down, the tuberose is undeniable. Once you smell it, you're like, yeah, it's definitely there. So I would say this is a tuberose for amber or oriental perfume lovers. All right. And if I didn't say, that was released in 2008. And the noses are Sonia Constant, and I think that's it. Okay. All right, next. Or no, I'm wrong. The noses are Anne Gottlieb and Khalees Becker. Sorry. The next scent is actually created by Sonia Constant, and this is Tom Ford's Orchid Soleil. I think this was discontinued. This is another one of those super chic suntan scents, but this has got this, I don't know, is it a pepperiness? There is some pepper and there's cypress in it too. And so it's got this little bit of an edge, and then it softens and is just gorgeous. This is a really, really chic, I would say, suntan scent. One of my favorite Tom Fords. I think, and you can, at least when I bought this a few years ago, you could find it still pretty inexpensively. It is discontinued now though, so it might not be still the case. That was released, by the way, in 2016, so pretty recently. I fell in love with this scent the first time I sprayed it. I was in a Sephora, and this is Twilly by Hermes, or Twilly de Hermes by Hermes. So I'm glad I smelled this before it was marketed to me, frankly, because in the stores at the time, they were talking about how this was a young girl's perfume, or a perfume that was marketed to young girls. I was a young girl once. I'm not ageist and I'm not sexist. I mean, not in that way, I don't think. But it's interesting to me because I find this to be really complex. There's no way, I'll just speak for myself, that I would have loved this at 18. I don't think. I get tons of ginger from this. Orange, ginger, a little bit of sandalwood, and tuberose. This thing is beautiful. To me, it's heavy, complex. This actually reminds me of old school scents. Yeah, I'm surprised. I think this actually has done well in the market too for people of all ages, but this is, I just think, so beautiful. And I love this in the winter, in the cold months. I remember when I first sprayed it on my wrist, when I tried it in the mall, I was like in love with myself that day, smelling my wrist and such. Another scent people might not think of is tuberose, but again, once your nose smells it, you're like, oh yeah. I have to say, I go back and forth with Mugler scents. There are some, and I don't doubt that they're amazing. I think Angel is amazing. Angel Muse, I think, is amazing. Both of those, though, I can't wear them. They don't work for me, and I don't deny that they're amazing. But I do think that their scents are polarizing. I like Alien certain days, I crave it and love it, and then some days I can't deal with it or handle it. But Alien Fusion I find to be kind of like a slightly gentler Alien, but definitely more tuberose heavy. So this was created in 2019. I get from this, there's a lot of things, but orange blossom, cinnamon, and tuberose. Some of my favorite things in the world. And this is when it's addictive. This is really strange, but the other, I don't know, a few nights ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went and sprayed it on myself. I went back to bed and I was like, oh, I smell so nice. So yeah, that's kind of my relationship with Alien. I won't wear it for months at a time, and then suddenly I was like, oh, that's the thing. It's going to work right now at 4 a.m. So Alien Fusion, really, really beautiful kind of version of Alien that's tuberose dominant. Last but not least, I'm going to talk to you about my favorite tuberose prominent perfume. For those of you who have not listened to the channel, my favorite niche or smaller independent house is Solstice Scents. This is a scent called Nightgown. I've been using 2 testers over a few years. When I first sprayed this, I was like, oh my God. I knew I liked tuberose, but this is the thing that went, yeah, you love tuberose. This is amazing. So this is a beautiful, super tuberose prominent perfume, but it also has vanilla, tiare flower, and white chocolate. So it's like a gourmand tuberose. It is creamy, buttery, sexy, gourmand, sumptuous, heady. I would chase somebody with this. Just saying. This runs about, I think, $80 or $85. It's in production right now. They tend to go in and out of production because they make things in batches, small batches, and they do just incredible work. I'm telling you, my Solstice scents perfumes are some of my favorite perfumes. They are amazing. You can get this in an oil for, I think, $16 or $18, and they also have sample sets, Solstice scents. They are out of close to Gainesville, Florida. It might be Alachua. Anyways, my parents used to live there. Fabulous house. Noses, Angela St. John, Magic Makers. So that's my favorite tuberose. Number 15. As you can tell, there are some things missing, major things missing, like fricas, carnal flower. Gosh, what else, guys? What else? Okay, so I would love to hear from you. What do you think's missing? What tuberose prominent scents do you love? And specifically, for those of you who love tuberose, can you tell me more about some bubblegum tuberose scents? Because I think that's one of the things I like the most, or gourmand tuberose like Nightgown. So, Jordan, I hope you enjoyed this all. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk with you soon. Cheers. Bye.